Hi guys, welcome to Sera and Sarge. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, share this video, and subscribe.
I remember praying to God, help me with two things, listening and patience. And his response was, he gave me an African woman.
When it comes to Africans, first of all, we are late about everything.
I didn't bring that.
No, I'm just saying.
Hi guys.
Welcome again to Sera and Sarge. Today we are going to talk about the fifth habit of highly effective people by COVEY. And for those who probably this is your first time to follow this conversation, we are going to put the links of the first four habits below. So feel free to go there and watch them so that you can really understand what is going on here. Because the first three, it was more about like a private victories. That's how we can summarize them. It's the stuff you work on yourself, you deal with yourself before you come out in the public. And the last three, it's more about public victories. So you have worked on yourself, now you are ready to come out. And today, habit, I love this one, really I do. It's called seek to understand, then to be understood. And that's a big problem. Most of the time in a conversation or in an argument, we always feel like I need to get my point heard. I need to get somebody to understand and listen to me. We always want to be listened to.
I'm a good listener.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I'm the worst.
That one, So
No,
that's
hold on.
okay.
What it is, I want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to go around the block. I always tell her right away, get to the point. And I know it's the wrong thing to do, but I'm so impatient when it comes to hearing someone out.
Yep, and most of the time when you really, and that throws me off, and sometimes I get so mad, I'm like, I'm not even going to tell you what I was about to say, because most of the time women, that's how we are. We just like a detailed, we just love to talk about the details. And I think when you listen to somebody, you can really hear her point, and then it would be easier for them to hear back. So basically, we know there are like a four basic type of communication. It's writing, reading, speaking, and listening. And most of the time, we put emphasis on the first three, like writing, reading, speaking, and we don't really focus on listening, and that's very important. And going through this book, I learned also they're like for basic type of kind of like a listening. Sometimes we're just listening, like when you listen to somebody, it's just you pretend you are ignoring the person. So as somebody who's ignoring another person, you just ignore, you're not listening. And there's another type of listening which is called pretending. And then when somebody's pretending, they tend to do like, oh, yeah, right. But they don't really, they're just pretending, but they're not there. And there's another type of listening called selective. You select from whatever the person is saying, that's what you retain. And there's what is called attentive listening. And that's what we need.
I'm smiling because I am the worst, worst listener ever. Like, oh man. Like I could be talking to somebody and like my mind is way gone somewhere else.
Yep.
And like I'm not even paying attention and I have to catch myself and say, man, pay attention. All this is going in my head while we're having a conversation. And I realize, like, if I meet someone, I'm horrible with names. And then I realize that plays a big reason into why I can't remember names. Is because my mind is not at that place. Or I'm thinking about how I'm going to respond to them.
Yeah, now you can understand what I go through. I'm just kidding. But sometimes, though, I for example, tell him, like, hey, honey, we have an invitation next week, blah, blah. He's like, oh, okay. So when the time comes, and I'm like, hey, remember tomorrow we are going here. He's like,
What?
what? You never told me that. I'm like, what? I told you.
Honey, in all fairness, she loves to many words for a little thing.
That's women thing, and then that's what it is. Seek to understand. Just like somebody talk. It's called. How do you pronounce this one?
Empathic listening.
Yes. When coming back to what we need in every single situation in life, either it's at your work, it may be with your supervisor, it may be with your co-workers, maybe with your colleagues, maybe with your husband or your family. Sometimes when there's argument, we always feel like I'm right, you're wrong, and you want to get your idea across the table. You don't have time.
It's more you.
We're not here to
I
play
know.
games.
I do say sorry a lot. Oh, you will never say that.
I do.
No.
I'm better now. I'm learning because every bad line is a lot. And that's the biggest problem, that when you're trying to justify and show that I'm right, you're wrong. But really, what it is in every single situation, as I said, if you really want it to be successful, it may be in your business and in dealing and negotiating with the other people or partners. All you need is to listen to them. Just seek to understand them first. Let them pour their emotions, what they need to get out of the deal or out of anything. Once you listen, and really the person can see when somebody's listening to you, it's easy to tell. You know when somebody's listening to you, and you know when they're pretending. And most of the time when somebody's pretending, you just kind of like not tell the story. You just kind of like shut yourself off because nobody's paying attention. But when somebody's really listening to you, because they ask questions that shows you they are following up with your conversation. So when you are understood, then when I come on, then I give my point, it's easy to find a common place where we can just meet in the middle, because I let you kind of like empty yourself. I listened, I asked questions to better understand you. And then when I come out and tell you what I want, then you understand, and it's easy to make a deal. Either it's in a business, it's a relationship, or it's a coworker or supervisor having difficult dealing with that work, because we have been there. You have that one person at work or at school that you don't really get along with. But most of the time, you'll be surprised when you decide to sit down and let each other really speak the emotions and why. It's easy to come in the middle and understand each other.
Yeah. I remember, I had listening problems. I remember praying to God, help me with two things, listening and patience. And his response was, he gave me an African woman. And then I went to a conference for church. Oh my gosh. As an outsider to come into this culture, you have to learn to
Be patient.
Be patient and listen. You can be, everybody knows, it's no secret about the preachers, all preachers say, I'll be done in 3 minutes. Next thing you know, your daughters are sleeping on the thing. It's past 10 o'clock. Communication is the key to everything, to all relationship. And it's so important that when I was in the military, the very first thing you do in a war is you take communications out. If the enemy can't speak to each other, that's the number one way to attack anything, any system, is to destroy communication. And one thing I love about my wife's culture, it taught me a lot, the way they communicate with one another. It's really amazing, how you have a network of people in other cities and you all come together. It's so crazy how fast and effectively things spread, good and bad.
Yeah, what he mentioned, that's true. I don't know about our sisters and brothers, African Americans, But when it comes to African, first of all, we are late about everything.
I didn't bring that up.
No, I'm just saying. I know where I'm going. So, except to works maybe, but if they tell you they have something coming up at 10, be there at 11. 11 or 11:30. Then they will stay like 2 or 3 hours longer than they planned. So I'm just saying about the patient side. But we are also like really family and friends and oriented. We are so close, and I know like many people from different states. It's that kind of culture.
Like someone could come from another state, not even know each other, but they know someone who knows each other, and like they're like family. They come in, you cook, they stay, they eat. Talk like you've been friends for forever. That's the one thing I really admire and taught me a lot being married to her and seeing her community and the way you guys communicate. It's really powerful.
Okay. So as he said, communication is a very, very important, and in many like relationships or jobs that get terminated, it's just because of really, it's not only this, but many times it's just a communication. You will be surprised when you sit down and talk, how many problems get solved just in sitting and let each other talk without interrupting, just ask questions to understand them more. It's easy. And that was like one of the hardest thing we had when we get married. We both were not really good at communicator. I was more like didn't know how to just...
You shut down.
Yes, that's
and
what I'm saying.
I like gotta know.
Yes.
Right.
So basically, when I get upset, I usually we getting better. We have been married for 9 years, so we have learned, we have come a long way. So now we know. So he knows how to handle me. I know how to handle him, and it doesn't really. We don't have like a perfect marriage, but we don't have those fights that probably that we used to have. So as he said, I was a type of person, when I get upset, I don't want to talk, because in my mind it was like, when you are mad and somebody says something, you basically try to defend yourself, and you come up with a stupid answer or stupid phrase or stupid statement that at the end you have been hurt by what somebody said, and you hurt them back. And most of the time it's not really what you mean. It's just like in that moment you just so emotional and you're trying to get back. So my approach was like, I'm mad, I don't want to talk. He was like, I need to know what is going on.
Yeah, like I want to resolve it, like right then, right there. I just want to get it over.
Yep. So it was like hard until we start learning, and I thank him so much. He gave me this book. He loves to read. He reads a lot. So I really love to read too. Just in these days, I don't know what happened, but it's one of my hobbies to read. So he gave me this book, and also being believers, the more you grow also close to God, the more you learn, the more light is shining into your life, and you can see where you're wrong, where you're being stubborn. And I'm stubborn, and really
Preach. Preach.
I am. But I'm really, and he can be witness, I'm doing much better.
Way better.
And God is so amazing. My daughter, the first daughter we have, she is me point one.
She's my daughter too.
I say our daughter, I say I'm sorry. They're so different. There's when you look at them, you can see a lot. I will be able to say this is you. Like our second daughter, she is annoying. He is annoying. He can just be sitting here like, daddy this. She will annoy you until you like, my God.
I have a brother, older brother, who used to always him and his friends as a kid would beat me up. I couldn't win by fighting them, so I learned the art of annoying someone. I used to get under his skin so much.
Yeah, if he wants, but as I said, as now 9 years, I feel kind of that's 9 years of marriage, but we have we got married after like almost 2 years dating, so it's like 11 years to get all together. So I know him now.
Oh, now my
He
daughter.
doesn't get me that much. But if he wants, he can be so annoying. And our second daughter, oh my God,
Oh,
she is him 2.0. Our first daughter, she's mommy. She is
Yeah.
so stubborn. She wants something, she wants it, and she doesn't.
she doesn't quit till she gets it.
Yep, and and sometimes because we have like a really similar personalities, we fight a lot, and then until I just realized like she's almost an 8, but I just realized it's just because we both have a strong personality.
Oh, it's so funny when they're arguing or whatever. She can't give it in. She can't give in. I'm like, she's 8, right?
But really, what we're just being frank and being honest,
Yeah.
and that's why we started this channel, because we want to empower people. We want to inspire you. We want to tell you nobody's perfect. Nobody knows everything. No, like we all learn from mistakes we made. We all learn from others. We all learn and grow. So these things we're laughing at right now, it used not to be a laughing matter. It used to be like really heated
Yeah.
argument, like so bad. But now when we look back, because we have grown and knowing each other, learning, reading, and so we kind of like now most of the time when we sit and look back and on issues that we used to fight on, we just laugh because it seems so funny now. And that it comes as you commit yourself to understand somebody, and the more you understand them and the more they understand you. Even like when we mentioned that he wants to solve everything, I was like more shutting down. We never sat down and discussed that until we sat down and say, hey, that's me, this is my approach. I don't really want to talk when I'm mad because I don't want to say something I'm going to regret later.
That, and if you're married, you're not going anywhere,
Exactly.
right? So the best thing to do is to come together, unless you want your life to be miserable, right? And just work on compromises. I'm this way, you're that way. How can we work through this?
Exactly. How can we balance? And
If you can't come together to iron that out, you're going to have a lot of issues. And like I said, we believe in marriage. Like, I come from a culture where they divorce about everything. And to me, even in this house, we don't say that word.
Mm-hmm.
So we just, like, it's serious to us. So where are we going? Seriously.
Exactly.
What am I going to stay angry with? She's my wife.
Mm-hmm.
We share the same house. So having this atmosphere of anger and bitterness, and how is that helping anything?
Exactly. I remember, and when we bring them on, I remember the wife of the pastors who waited us.
Yeah.
One day we said she gave me the best advisor I can advise.
Marry him?
No, who married us?
No, I know. Her best advice was marry him.
No.
Marry me?
Let me finish. So, and one of our goals is to have them on our show when we talk about marriage, and because there's a lot of stuff that hinders you to become successful, to achieve your goals, and some of them are like relationships, family, and then so one thing she told me was like, every time when you are married to somebody, you see him or her as a team. You are one team. Like, a team doesn't fight. We love Buffalo Bills here in Buffalo. People know.
Yeah.
So if you're a Buffalo Bills team, you are a team. You're not fighting against each other. You are ready to attack somebody, or just let's say attack another team that is coming to you. You have to be together. So she told me that when something comes against you, against your marriage, when there's an issue, you have to see that issue as a team and attack the issue as a team, not as like an individual, like, oh, this is me. And that's how, like, it helped us a lot. And as he said, We married, we share the same house, same bedroom. Where am I going? Where is he going? But if something comes, we are a team. We just sit and say like, okay, it doesn't mean we don't get mad or we don't argue, but we argue in the way of like getting to a common understanding and balance and just get solution, not to prove the point. And which was hardest part on my part. I'm not ashamed to really agree because I have learned and grow much better. And he's sitting here, I'm not lying. It was so hard for me to just say sorry, and that's the truth. I would be like, and sometimes, you know, even when I knew like I started, I would be just so stubborn because I get mad and arguing. But the more I saw him like always saying sorry, as I said, as a believer, you have the Holy Spirit. It stays like you being stubborn, you know you're wrong. Why are you acting this way? So you can really fight with God.
And at the same time, even if in your heart you feel you're not wrong, why not just apologize? Right?
Yep.
And why keep the whole... Because either way, you're one, so whoever's fault it is, there's still an offense. So just, if sorry repairs that, then so be it.
Yeah, he's really good at that, and he has taught me a lot. And also what helped us was sitting and say the way, like, I act this way when I'm mad because I don't want to say something to you that I'm going to regret. I don't want to say something in anger that I didn't think about. So then he has learned to know that if I'm not in that mood of talking, he would just be patient. He is doing really much better. It wasn't the case, and he's doing better. So this is the advice we're giving you in any situation you approach, either in a relationship, at work, anywhere, because we deal with different people at different time, and every person is different, and that's what makes life more beautiful. Because if everything I said he agrees, or everything he said I agree, and then like one of us will be useless in the relationship. But the reason why it's useful is because we are different. I can bring an idea. When he talks to me and analyze that, I say like, yeah, I didn't think this. But if everything was yes, one of us will be useless. So it's the beauty of life to have different opinions, but also have the spirit of meeting somewhere in the middle. I have heard your part, you have heard my part, my feelings, I had yours. Okay, what can we do to just be cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're newly married, I would tell you my advice, the first year is like really exciting, really intense, but it's also really the time where you're going to learn about one another. And it can be some really rough waters because boundaries are being established, and how you work together to figure out solutions will be established. Like, all of these things are new to couples. You could have been dating or whatever for 6 months or however long, but you've never lived together. You've never had to share things. You've never had to like see someone and their habits and their like my socks. You love that one.
I can't stand it, but
the point I'm trying to say is this, is you're going to look at people in the public. Everyone acts a certain way in the public. But regardless what anybody says, behind closed doors, we're all human and we all go through things. Right? So just understand that there's no perfect marriage. You're always going to have issues. You're always going to have problems. You're always going to have arguments,
you know,
fights, stuff like that. But the point is, in your mind, know that you're committed to making this work. Right? We all have flaws.
And understand
And
somebody
understand one.
and then be understood. So basically, as I said, we know as a person, you know, I know I'm not perfect. You are not perfect. Why would you expect a perfect relationship. It's kind of like a false expectation. When you know you're not perfect and you're marrying somebody who is not perfect, or you're going to you are at work, you are not perfect. Don't expect your boss to be perfect. But when you approach everything in that compromise way, you are so surprised how everything goes smooth. And be willing to talk. Be willing to talk about the feelings. But sometimes we want to hide feelings and just try to pretend like, everything is fine, but it doesn't really help and it doesn't solve a problem. The only thing that can solve a problem is like when you really sit, empty yourself, ask a questions, like somebody, and do the same, vice versa, and then you would be able to understand. And among the 4 listening skills, we said ignoring somebody or pretending or selective. The perfect one is attentive listening. You have to be attentive when you are listening to somebody. Yes. Just
so
pay them
hard.
attention. Ask a question throughout the conversation, because sometimes I may say something. If you really truly listening, you will ask a question to understand me more, and if I listen to you, you need to be willing to listen to me back. So we really appreciate. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to smash that red button, subscribe, share, like, leave a comment. If you learned something, share it with us. If there's something else you really feel like we need to cover, we are here for you and for us so we can grow together.